Surprise nerd.
Nerds roll.
Oh, my glasses are broken.
The surprise nerd.
My pocket is protected.
The surprise nerd.
I am a super nerd.
Surprise nerd.
Tiffany's Batman.
Okay.
Excelsior!
I am a super nerd.
The Nerd Skool Podcast.
Starring Andy.
I am a former entertainment journalist.
I am a super nerd.
TBJ.
Hi, this is Tiffany. You may hear me be referred to as TBJ.
TBJ, y'all.
I am what I like to call a surprise nerd.
Artstar.
My name is Artstar, and I am an artist.
Yo, my name is Joe, and I am the nerd student. The nerd pupil, if you will. Welcome to Nerd School. We're back again with Artstar
Hey, what up?
and TBJ
Hello, hello.
and a super nerd Andy.
Nerd School is now in session.
And I am the student. I'm Joe, and let's jump right into the next movie in the Marvel MCU. The Incredible 2008's Incredible Hulk.
Hell yeah.
Directed by Andy. You want to take
Louis
this?
Leterrier, or Leterrier. I think he's French, so I think it would be Leterrier, but I don't think I've actually heard it spoken out loud. I just read it a lot.
I'm going to go with your instinct on that.
Okay, I'll believe you. Starring
Edward Norton.
Ed Norton.
Liv Tyler.
Don't want to miss a thing.
Who's Artstar's favorite actress?
Actually, she's no.
She is incredible.
No, she's not incredible.
Arthur, you're not a fan?
She sounds like a Fraggle Rock.
What?
Yes.
That is a
Liv
low
Tyler.
blow. She does not. I don't know where you decide to hate on Liv Tyler in your life.
I'm not hating on Liv Tyler. Just I just don't like to hear her talk.
We're gonna send you to therapy about this.
But you think do you think she's pretty?
She's alright.
But you would prefer the lady who was in the original, the other Hulk,
Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly's pretty cool. I mean, to me, I think they're about like if you was one of those people who didn't really get into like Hollywood, you could almost sit there and say like, hey, they kind of look alike, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Both brunettes, both played Betty.
Yeah,
So I'm about to say Betsy Ross again.
Betsy Ross.
Yes,
That's
it's not Betsy Ross. It's
Betty Ross, right? She's not.
Wanted to be Betsy Ross.
Yeah, this is not the
Maybe
character.
Liv Tyler was Betsy. Maybe Liv Tyler was Betsy Ross. I'd like her more.
Yeah, she's not.
Lord.
This is not the lady who sewed the American flag. Instead, it is Hulk's lover, right?
Yeah, Bruce Banner's lover.
Bruce Banner's lover.
Yes.
So this came out in June of 2008.
Mm-hmm.
That's an hour and 52 minutes. It's PG-13.
And it's also one of the shortest MCU movies.
It is? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty short. Written by
That is true.
Zach Penn. You guys know Zach Penn?
Yeah, I think he's written some other stuff. I'd have to look it up.
Tim Roth is the third billing.
Yep, and there's William Hurt as Betsy Ross's dad.
Yeah.
George Washington. No. General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross.
So let's jump into this movie. And I have sort of like I took the description or the synopsis on IMDb that was written by someone. It doesn't say who wrote it, but so I'm going to kind of go through that. I'll try to summarize it a little bit, and we'll just go through it. And I will ask my student questions to you, nerd experts, and then feel free to jump in with any tidbits you have, any comments you want to make. If you guys have any other questions or things and discussions, we'll just go from there.
Do you want to do
Alright.
a quick rundown of Hulk history before this?
Oh yeah. What Hulk history do you want to give us, like backstory of Hulk? Before we get into this.
Created in 1962, I believe.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's right.
1962. Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, the classic comic book team who basically created everything that is Marvel, and even a lot of DC. Jack Kirby did.
Okay.
Originally, his name in his first appearance was Bobby Banner.
Oh, not Bruce.
Bobby.
But
David.
and then by the time the second issue I think rolled around, Stanley had forgotten what he named him, so he started calling him Bruce Banner. And he liked alliterative names,
Right.
so he could
Yes.
remember them more.
Gotcha.
You have your Reed Richards, your Bruce Banner, your Peter Parker.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I never noticed that.
Yep. And so then they called him Bruce Banner, and then someone realized you called him Bobby Banner in the last one, so his full name is Robert Bruce Banner.
Ah,
There you
so
go.
he covered it that way.
Yep. And he went through a lot of permutations. He was a founding member of the Avengers in the comics as well.
He was a founding member of the Avengers?
Yeah, he was in the first issue of Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
It was Hulk, Ant-Man, the Wasp, Thor, and Iron Man. Those are the original four Avengers.
And his name is not David Banner at all in the comics.
No.
Yeah, not.
David Banner was a creation of the Incredible Hulk TV show in the 70s.
Yeah.
Starring Bill Bixby as David Banner and Lou Ferrigno as the Incredible Hulk.
Shout out to Bill Bixby.
Apparently, his name was changed to David Banner because probably, I think, network executives thought Bruce sounded too gay.
Yeah.
Is that really
Exactly what I was
true?
about to say.
I
That's what-
remember reading. Yeah.
That's how Hollywood works, fellas.
Yep.
So our first bout of homophobia.
What I heard
in
it said
the comics.
gayish. What I heard was gayish. They
Gayish.
said they thought it was a little gayish.
Gay-ish.
Oh.
Which,
Hey, stop.
Now
I
there is
mean-
that episode of The Simpsons where Homer says, "You guys," like he yells at Jonathan Waters. Is that his name?
Waters?
John Waters. He's like, "Here's my problem with gay guys. You took all our names, Lance and Bruce. We need those names. Those used to be the tough names." Maybe Bruce wasn't one of them, but I thought it was.
It might have been, according to TV.
So Bruce,
But
I've never heard that. I don't know. To me, that doesn't sound like doesn't seem like a feminine name to me. Bruce.
hey, Bruce.
But these are all.
Brucey?
Listen, we are a country who is weird, because
Yeah.
no name is actually gay, and we also come from a history of naming our males Ashley and Shannon,
That's
for
right.
them to suddenly to decide, oh no, he can't be Bruce on TV. Meanwhile,
right.
Shannon and Courtney are running the studios as Mel. So
Boom.
we're just weird.
Toby was a big name in the 70s. and
Toby.
that's-
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically just a sign that network executives are dumb.
Okay.
Yes,
And
that's what it boils
network
down
heads are
to.
really crappy.
All right.
But the Hulk show in the 70s was super popular, and a lot of the beats from that show are followed in this movie. But there was also
You don't mean beats as in like dropping the beats, Wu-Tang style,
yes, that's exactly what I mean.
or eating
I mean, it's
beets,
appropriate.
the vegetables.
But there was a Hulk movie in, I believe, 2002, was it?
Which is, I always get the two confused.
Right.
2003, right?
2002 or 2003?
Three, I
I think it's 3.
Yeah, 2003.
And that one was starring who again?
Eric Bana.
Eric Bana. I hated that one. I think right? Didn't I hate that one?
Most people hate that
Am
one.
I supposed to
like
hate that
it
one?
as a Hulk nerd, but it's Eric Bana, Jennifer Connelly, and Sam Elliott as General
Right.
Ross.
Oh, Sam Elliott's better.
I like both movies. I just kept flashing back different scenes. So when I think about the Hulk as a whole, I tend to combine both movies in my brain.
In your
So
head,
it's like
yeah.
there are scenes from both that play in my head as if they were one movie. And going back to watch it made me go, oh, wait, no, it is two different movies. Because it's been a lot of years.
Sure.
Yeah.
What do the critics? Do the critics like this one, the 2008 one, better as far as like the animation of the Hulk and all that, the CGI?
I think so. I think in 2003 they were still pioneering it, and you can by the end of the movie they decided let's just do everything in the dark, so it's got to cover up.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of in the 2003 one. The texture of the Hulk feels real, like bullets bounce off him, and he looks a little rubbery. But if bullets bounce off your skin, it's going to look like that. And they had a shtick where the angrier he gets, the larger he gets. So he also just would people will shoot him with bullets. He just grow and grow and grow and become like a bigger giant monster.
Huh.
And it's the CG was not bad, except the big problem, the big issue that threw everybody off of the first one was the fact that like the big fight scene is with him and a bunch of
Dogs.
Hulk dogs,
Right.
including a Hulk poodle.
Right.
Like
right.
the only big fights are him and the Hulk poodles, which was taken from the comics, but was still like not a really good thing to take from the comics. And then there was the big fight in the desert, which was pretty cool, which is very classic Hulk. And then there's the fight at the end with his dad, who is called David Banner in that movie.
That's right. And the dad's Nick Nolte, all that whole thing. That's right.
And that's, in the comics, his dad's name was Brian Banner, but Nick Nolte's craziness is a lot like the comic version.
Totally.
So they have Bruce's dad in the comics, but it's not in this movie. They don't even do his dad's story.
He's a psychopath in the comics as well.
I'm just realizing, too, now that I'm also mixing them up in my head, just like Tiffany is, I think, because, I
you
I
have
distinctly
flashbacks
remember
of
that,
both movies.
Yeah, it's
you
crazy
have flashbacks, and then your
Fair.
brain, you string them together.
Aside from the opening montage, the credits montage of The Incredible Hulk, this new movie, or this 2008 movie, there's not a lot that contradicts what was in the 2003 movie. So,
And you think that was a conscious decision?
I mean, I think the credits montage was consciously saying this isn't that movie because that movie didn't do that well because like the final fight was in the dark and it was just like the Hulk yelling into a cloud like a jellyfish monster. It was the action parts were not done well, but the examination of psychological anger issues was done pretty well in that movie, and that's why I like it still.
Yeah.
What do you guys think, Art and Tiff? You liked it too, or did you hate it?
I'm on the no. I didn't hate the first one. It's. Let me get my words. What I feel is similar to Andy in the fact that the first one explores a lot of the psychology and the why. And I like that in any movie, not just comic movies. Like I like when we can see a little backstory or we can see things build. But I like the 2008 movie as well. So
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Why did you say it like that?
Oh, let's see.
I mean, it was.
I did.
I'm spoiled by modern technology and things,
but when
so
we watch, think about, okay, this is 2020, obviously, and we watch these. You have to remember the growth. It's like going back and deciding you don't like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer because of claymation.
But see, I like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Like I think I just don't like. I didn't like the Incredible Hulk. Incredible Hulk. I think I didn't like it.
Fine.
So,
both of them.
Liv Tyler kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah.
I think if he could
you
get
didn't
over
like
his
it.
Liv Tyler hate, he could appreciate the
that's
new
okay.
one.
Well,
Like even some of the
that could ruin a movie.
But even how, like Andy was saying, how like in the first one you seen the bullets. Like some of the camera work in this one seemed really obvious. Like just like super close ups of him, and you see like where it cuts in the Hulk. It's almost like it seemed rushed, even though it's for that time. It's still like it's 2000. It was 2008. They still could have kind of like roughed out some of these weird things with the camera angles. You know what I mean? It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I feel like it's probably anytime you're doing an actual like a Hulk standalone movie, it's going to feel rushed because they could always do the CG better.
Right.
And so they're always going to feel like, oh, we have to get all this done by a certain time, and your main character is entirely computer generated.
Yeah.
Right.
And the Incredible Hulk paid for that in the end of this when it's two computer generated monsters fighting each other, and it kind of loses the.
We'll get to this. We'll get to this. But Art, did you also hate the 2003 one with Jennifer Connelly?
I didn't. Oh, that was okay. I like that.
You like that one better. So you like this.
Right.
You probably like the story and the actors better more than anything, probably, right? Or just
Liv Tyler.
You just hate Liv Tyler.
I'm going to say Liv Tyler. Liv Tyler was a cancer to this movie.
I'm gonna go ahead and express my apologies to Liv Tyler on behalf of Nerd School
Yes.
Podcast. Art
Yes.
does not speak for all of us.
Yes.
I love your dad. Liv. Oh.
The opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily represent Nerd School Podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, I also don't have a problem with her, except I'm a little distracted. I want Steven Tyler to show up every time I see her, or I want Bruce Willis and an asteroid to hit him and say, "I don't want to miss a thing."
She was great in that. Like, I love Armageddon.
Yeah.
Like, that scene, I get choked up when I see that scene.
Do you?
You know, so
You just didn't like her.
I don't like her for the Incredible. I didn't like her for the Incredible Hulk. That's what it is.
Okay.
Like, she could have been,
Okay.
deal with Ben Affleck all she want, but like for this movie, I didn't like her.
Okay. Well, that's fair. So you don't dislike her as an actress. Like, you think she's
Right.
good. You just didn't like her as. And sometimes you can't get past that if you don't want somebody as a certain
Right.
part. Ben Affleck as Batman. People hated that, right?
Yeah,
People did.
because it just felt Ben Affleck and not like, oh look, there's Ben Affleck. Oh, I guess he's supposed to be Batman. Every time he started talking, oh yeah, he's supposed to be Batman.
Oh yeah, but he's Ben Affleck. He's always Ben Affleck first.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
It's like if you had
But I don't call Ben Affleck a cancer to all Batmans.
But like if you had, it's like Ben Affleck's kind of like if you had Sammy Davis Jr. as
Right.
Superman. I mean, I'm
Right.
Superman, baby. Hey, I'm Clark Kent, baby. Now, and you would never believe it because Sammy Davis Jr. is such an iconic actor already. Like he's just him all the time. Ben Affleck's the same kind of way. Whereas there's other ones that like Michael Keaton wasn't Michael Keaton when he was Batman. He was Batman. You know what I mean? Like he was a different Michael Keaton. Don't you think? I don't know. I guess that's how I agree with him. Anyway,
Well, I mean, so you said pretty much sort of like how like Christian Bale
yeah.
was like Chris, like he does like I'm Batman, and then and even Will on that does like different kind of voice where Batfleck. I was gonna call him Batfleck. Ben Affleck was just Ben Affleck with a cape and cowl.
Listen,
You know?
we're getting
Do you
distracted to the wrong superhero.
Do you bleed?
I think I want Artstar to be Batman.
Hey, Matt Damon, you the one if you think he bleeds?
No.
Oh, well, thank you.
I like Art's Bat when he goes, "I'm Batman." Like he does the best.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I was waiting for you to do it. All right, let's jump into the movie. So we already kind of touched a little bit on everything, but so the over the opening credits, Andy alluded to, we can see how Hulk was born. It's sort of like a montage at the beginning with Ed Norton and Betty Ross, Liv Tyler. They're scientists working on a project involving making the body resistant to certain types of radiation, specifically gamma rays. And so there's this whole you see the whole backstory just done in a montage.
Yeah, that's closer to the TV show
It's
than
him
it
being
is the
Hulk.
comics.
Yeah, so what I wrote here is just that because it's been so long since either one of these movies, I've went back and watched them like all of us, and all this confusion between the two. When I first started watching this again, I was like, did I miss a movie? Is this the second movie? Was there two? I don't remember. Is this? And then I was like, is this footage from that first Hulk movie? And then I started in my mind like, why is this not? And I totally forgot Sam Elliott. I forgot it made me think that this was the back, just like it kind of, like you said, it kind of probably meant to do. I had forgotten all about Nick Nolte and all that stuff. But at first I was like, I'm going to have to call Andy. And then I just, I'll just give it a minute. And then I started realizing, okay, I don't think I did miss anything. I think it was just their way of catching you up to, we already know who the Hulk is. Everybody already knows how the backstory happened. And now here's the story we're going to tell.
Right.
It's this was only 5 years since that last Hulk movie.
Okay.
It was basically a 5-year difference, and then okay, we're rebooting it. So they had to kind of try to separate themselves, and they did a whole basically the point of this movie was to pick up the action that was not in the first one was very slowly paced and very cerebral, and this was like, all right, let's just make this a tense thriller. He's on the run all the time, and
Right.
And that did
I
work.
read that.
Go ahead,
I read the director meant this to be what he called the requel, I guess he said. Because it was like a reboot, but then also kind of sort of like a sequel to the first one.
Okay. A requel.
Yeah,
I like that
That's
term.
cool. I never heard that term before.
I like it.
Artstar laying down new verbiage.
Hey,
We all learned.
I don't take claim to that word. I just read it.
Well, I'll always remember you saying it first. No, but that's good. Okay, cool. And I love a movie that starts out like that. Like it's got to start out like going and get you into it. Like anything, a play, a show, anything a concert. You know, they say
Right.
concerts, you start out with a kick-ass song and then you end with a kick-ass song, just to get everybody going. So yeah, that's good. So that's cool. I'm glad you put that in there. Okay, and then we jump to 158 days without incident in a town.
But before you get there, before you do that,
Yeah.
like when it was showing the opening credits and the little montage,
Yeah.
like there were bits and pieces that we were supposed to see, like Nick Fury's name pops up in there.
Really?
Doc Samson's name is on one of the documents that's taped up. Who else? Rick Jones' name pops up.
The movie.
Yeah, but they mention like Doc Samson's in there, but his name's also in that very beginning of the little clip, and then you see like the schematics for the Sonic cannon. You see like Stark Industries on that, so like there's a lot of things in there. Like I don't know if you guys have you guys seen the last Jurassic? I mean, this is totally not the bottom, but have you seen the last Jurassic Park movie?
No, I haven't seen any.
No.
Since the second one.
Do you plan on seeing the last Jurassic Park movie?
I do not.
No.
All right, so at the end of the Jurassic
Spoiler
Park
alert.
movie, when it's going off, they show all these different. It's like an ending montage, but they show clips of like different things happening around the world. Because not Jurassic Park. I'm lying to you guys. Godzilla. It's Godzilla. The last Godzilla that recently came out.
Godzilla.
Oh, I definitely did not watch the last.
Okay, so
Godzilla.
at the end of that,
Andy
it's
did.
like they show all these different clips of different animals, like Mothra, like all these different animals from the Godzilla or the Universal Monster. I guess they're part of Universal Monsters. But like they were showing all these different clips, setting up different movies based on what it was almost like the whole flash forward, jumping everything up to like, okay, this is the next phase of what's happening after Godzilla. We're gonna have all these other different monster movies which tie into the Godzilla universe, kind of sort of thing.
So this is the same thing they were doing in this montage in the Hulk.
Yeah, and from the very beginning, so you're seeing like, all these different things. It's like, okay, later on down the line, like the Sonic cannon, how it shows up in here. It also shows up. War Machine uses it. The drones from Far From Home, and these are Easter eggs right here. The drone from Spider-Man Far From Home that Mysterio uses the same Stark technology that was used on the Sonic cannon that we see here in this movie to disrupt the Hulk.
Cool. Did you know that,
But
Andy?
it's like all of
No.
Oh,
but
Skool
it's like all of these,
Professor.
all of these little things that they're sprinkling throughout in that very beginning. It's like if you're not looking for it, you're gonna catch it. Like, okay, this is what happened. Like you said, like all you saw was like this was giving you like a little backstory of what happened. Like now, here's the story we're gonna tell. But like before that, there was like so much information in there that like you wouldn't have not stopped to say, I wonder what that means. Wonder what's that? Like
Yeah.
That's cool. That
it's
kind
one.
of
It's some of the good things that happen in this movie that that you'll see that they show.
Yeah, I feel like I
throughout
caught
this
only a couple, but I know there are a million more. Like I caught the
Like, this
Stark
is all-
Industries on their equipment, but that's it. Because I was so into the story. But I'm always fascinated when you find out after, like, oh, they dropped all these hints, and you had to think that the people who were creating this were probably as nerdy as we can be because they know what they're dropping. So you know they're like, ooh, let me wait and see who catches this.
But it's almost like you want to be one of those execs in like those meetings, like how now they're like planning for like phase 5 of Marvel, and it's like this stuff like 2023, 2024, and it's like they already know pretty much what they're going to try to do, and we have to wait 4 years to see what happens, But like they know, like, okay, we're going to do this, and like people are going to be like, whoa, like, whoa.
Does it count as an Easter egg if a movie in 2008 shows something that a movie in 2019 decides to use? I mean,
Good point.
After
Or
the
is it
fact,
just
after the
going
fact,
back and
it's
adding
like a chicken. Well, I guess it would be a chicken then,
what
right?
came first?
what came first.
Right.
Yeah, so we don't know.
It'd be a chicken.
Did they
They're
just put
Easter
it?
chickens.
did they put it in there and then somebody making that 2019 movie decided to
So, hey,
use
let's
it?
reference that.
Right now,
Right.
I'm coining the phrase Easter chicken as a prequel to an Easter egg.
There's your new
Easter chicken.
verbiage. Easter chicken.
There's a new
chicken,
one.
there
There
you
we go. Well, yeah, I mean, I just wonder how often there's nerds sitting in a room somewhere. They come up with a plan to plot out those movies, like you're saying, and you can't wait. Like you can't wait to see what they're going to do. But
Right.
how hard is it for them to know what's going to happen and not tell all their
And then
nerd
have
friends?
to sit on it, right?
That's got to be really.
Well, I guess
difficult.
it's also like if you're a writer, you don't want people to know the end of your book until you actually publish it. So
Yeah.
for them, it's probably cool, but then it's also like they're like, oh, they're gonna love this when I release it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Or when you can relate the characters. I think that's one of
Yeah.
the things I do like in a book. I was reading a few books by an author, and it took me to the third book to go, wait a minute, all of these fools live in the same place. And then I figured out how they interacted in the book. And it wasn't obvious, but it was exciting by the third book because I was like, oh, okay. So I can imagine that there's a sense of comfort, I think, with them because, this is your world you're building. So a level of comfort in building it, but also a sense of excitement knowing that someone's going to catch on.
Yeah.
Or you can use it later, depending on which came first.
So that tells me I'm completely normal to want all these actors to also be the characters they've played in every other movie.
I'm going to go ahead and say first of all, completely normal, and you are not two terms that match.
Burn! That's true.
But
That's true.
none of us are.
Oh, good. That's why we're here together.
Sam Jackson cannot play one character for his whole life. Not everyone could be Liam Neeson, guys.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe there's some exceptions. We'll figure that out. But
And
otherwise,
we already know that. Not like, oh no, that doesn't.
How
that
are like
won't
eight different
work.
people going to be James Bond at the same time?
Exactly.
James Bond.
Multiple universes.
Yeah, there we go. Just like the Spider-Verse.
Do not add to it, Art. We're trying to kill Joe's theory of every actor
No.
playing every role
I
forever.
just want it to be possible. Like I want.
Well, I mean, I would have read the Liv. I mean, Jennifer Connelly played Betty Ross
That's
See?
true.
forever.
Forever and nothing else. And she could still be Betty Ross. Could be that same character in Career Opportunities. Right, Andy?
No.
No.
No. All right.
No.
We'll jump back in. 158 days without incident. In a town in Brazil, Bruce wakes up from a nightmare of everything that's happened to him. He groans and goes about his morning routine, which includes feeding his dog Rick and learning Portuguese by watching Sesame Street and comparing what he hears to a Portuguese-English dictionary. Wasn't there something about that we mentioned?
His dog, Rick, was named after the comics. His best friend in the comics is named Rick Jones, and Rick Jones is essential to him becoming the Hulk in the first place in the comics. So I'm sure that was a reference to that.
So Rick-
They
So
still
his
have
best
not
friend.
included- Rick Jones is kind of a big deal in Marvel Comics, but he's not made the jump into movies at all yet. He wasn't in the 2003 one. There was a guy that could have been the guy that Eric Bana had to save from getting the Gamma accident juiced up. That could have been Rick Jones, but then as soon as he is saved, you never see that guy again for the rest of the movie, and I don't think his name was Rick. And there's no Rick Jones in this. This was, Bruce Banner injects himself with the stuff.
Does Rick
But
Jones,
comics-
in the comics, does Rick Jones ever become a hero or a Hulk or anything?
Oh, yeah.
He becomes a Hulk?
He becomes a sort of a version. He becomes A-Bomb, which is sort of a riff on the Abomination, who is in this movie.
But it's not Abomination. It's not supposed to be
He's not
Abomination.
the Abomination, but he gets like these weird, he becomes kind of like this blue Hulk with weird scaly things that looks like the Abomination. So he decided to call himself A-Bomb for a while. Rick Jones is like in the original comics, he's a teenager who wanders onto the Gamma Bomb test site, and Bruce Banner has to save him.
Okay.
And then, because the bomb's about to blow up, and he told the guys to halt the countdown, but there's a KGB spy working in the Gamma unit, and he doesn't halt the countdown, he's trying to sabotage it. So Bruce manages to save Rick Jones by getting him to a protective trench, but he doesn't get into the trench as well, as if being in a ditch would help you not get radiation on you.
Yeah.
But it's Cold War 60s comics. So
Things magic.
but so he gets, and then Rick Jones feels guilty for the rest of his life because he's the reason Bruce becomes the Hulk, and he tries to make it up to him by being basically his Chewbacca. lifelong friend.
Nerd.
And then, like, he also gets really involved with the Avengers. He's like a sidekick to Captain America for a while.
Rick Jones is?
Yeah.
Does he beat up Bucky?
No, Bucky's dead at that point.
Oh, Bucky's dead, and Captain America's
We'll
got to
get into
have
this
a...
with Captain America,
I
but
know.
there was a long time in comics where the rule was only Bucky stays dead. And then they said, let's break that rule and bring Bucky back as the Winter Soldier. But that's a whole other thing. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that, yeah, because
We got time later.
there's a lot with Bucky. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, Rick Jones seems like a Bucky to me. I don't know.
Yeah, he was kind of... you know what? He might have actually... I have to look this up. But he might have actually been a Bucky. Like, he wore a Bucky costume for a little while. He might have...
Been a Bucky?
I might be wrong about that. But I feel like...
Well, you know, Bucky is pretty much the Marvel's version of Robin. So.
Yeah, it's basically...
Right.
Yeah, it's like you're not Captain America. You're just a Bucky. Like that sounds like the people insult each other like
Is
that.
that your-
Don't be a Bucky.
that
Get
I
out of
know.
here.
Once upon a time, they might have, but... ever
Now you
since-
want to be Bucky, you know.
Now you want to be Bucky because
since
he's.
they made Bucky, like, cool and tragic.
But Robin still sucks, right?
I don't think he
Don't know who you talk to.
sucks.
There's a big fan base of
Robin is a
fangirls,
badass,
especially.
man.
Where,
Especially
like,
Damien.
Fangirls for Robin?
yeah.
Oh, because he's
Yeah.
Nightwing. That's
more
right.
so for Nightwing, I think. But
Yeah.
not
there's a whole bunch of Robins, and there's enough of them that they're their own little family unit.
not Burt Ward.
Not Burt Ward, but
Anyway, so Rick Jones was cool and awesome and great in the comics, and now he's reduced to a friggin' dog.
yeah.
I
And
mean, it's a way to. It's
a
a
way
way
to
to make him
homage.
still have a best friend
That's
in the
true.
movie.
Oh, that's a
so
smart-
Rick is still his best friend.
Yeah.
He's just in a different form in the movie.
that's a good
all.
take. I like
He's a
that.
spirit animal.
Spirit,
There you go.
spirit animal. All right, I like the best friend thing. That's a good angle. Okay, I won't knock it then. That's good. That's a good point. He also spends time learning relaxation techniques in an effort to control his heart rate and keep himself from becoming too excited. He goes to his job as a day laborer at a local factory, handing out dry goods and cleaning up messes while avoiding the old tough guys at a bottling factory. He also occasionally helps out
You
with
know, the old tough guys that hang out at the bottling factory all the time.
the bottling.
That stereotype. Yeah.
every bottling factory has tough guys.
of course.
Every factory has the bullies.
It wouldn't be a factory without it. Duh.
Yeah, that's right.
And a dame that needs saving. The dame in distress.
Always.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Yeah, he also occasionally helps out with electrical aspects when something breaks, which it does on this day. And we as he's fixing it and joking around with the manager, he cuts himself on a metal clip, and his blood falls through all the graded floors onto the belt. And Bruce freaks out, yelling for the belt to stop. Confused, the workers stop the belt, and Bruce inspects the area where the blood fell, cleaning it up and giving it the okay. As the belt starts and the people start talking about the crazy gringo, no one notices the drop of blood that fell into a bottle currently destined for the United States of America. And this is when he seals up his little cut with super glue. And I just wrote down that I'm going to start carrying super glue with me in case I ever cut myself.
Is that the first time you've ever heard of that?
I
though?
think that's the first time I've ever seen that. I didn't know that was a thing you could do. Wouldn't
No,
it get
I've seen
infected?
No, there's something. Maybe it was back in my military life. I've seen things get sealed. I'm not saying it's the best thing to do,
But if
I've
you have
seen
nothing
it.
else, yeah. Have you ever done it?
No, I have not. It's sustained major cuts that. Well, I have, but they needed stitches. So. Yeah.
Okay.
We're not gluing anything. I'm
They
gonna
need
go.
they need stitches like snitches do.
No snitches.
I
Don't
feel
always
like I
stitches.
have. Because I have a cut on my middle, like this finger here.
Yeah.
Ow.
That when I was in 8th grade, my best friend at the time, I had his pen. And it was one of those ball pens with the metal clip thing on it.
Yeah.
It was broken off. So he snatched it from me and
Ooh.
opened up my finger.
Ooh.
And like I'm queasy when it comes to blood.
Yeah.
So I remember being in class looking at it. Teacher sent me to the nurse's office to get a Band-Aid. I put a Band-Aid on it, but it needed like stitches.
Ugh.
And I actually put glue in
Like
it.
snitches do.
And like I never got stitches in it. Never got stitches in it.
Yeah.
But like
That's what
when I
don't
was
know.
younger.
Maybe it's cultural. I don't know.
But when I used to sit there and I used to sit there and press it, and I could feel like it would feel weird whenever I pressed against it, just because because of the way it's sealed up on
It
its
just
own.
didn't seal up the right way or whatever.
I mean, it's sealed the right way, but you can see the cut where it looks like it should have been stitched.
Yeah.
But I'm not, just toughed it up.
It's a weird thing. I don't know. I'm about to Google when it became.
And the only reason I did it was because I was like, I wonder if I put glue on it, if it'd do. Like, I didn't even think of like, I was a young boy. I was 13. Boys, we do what we do.
Yeah, that's true. Tiffany, can I ask you a
Go
question
ahead.
about your military career?
Yeah.
If it's not too personal, did you ever kill anybody?
I did not. No.
Sweet.
I did not go to war. So my my people went to war. I went in during a time of war.
You
And
did?
I did. And I was in the Air Force. And it was at the time where Air Force doesn't often go directly into war. However, they were taking people from my job and training us. We're transportation. So you name it, we can drive it. We can drive a wrecker, a tractor trailer, a Hummer. So the Army started to use us to drive for them. And so my shop, everyone deployed, and it was my turn to deploy, but someone wanted to go back. It was a single guy who really wanted to go back, so I never had to go. Like, my readiness bag was always packed because it was a part of my job, but I never actually went. My mother went. She saw some stuff.
Okay.
But I never had to go. So...
Good. But you're trained to kill a guy. Like, you could kill all three of us.
I'm trained to shoot a gun. Like, I'm trained to drive. I can drive us out of combat real quick and get us where we need to be.
She's being modest. Tiffany probably could kill us with a paperclip.
She could kill the
Yeah,
three
but
of us
that's
with
not my
a
Air
bare
Force
hand.
training. That's just
She could
Tiffany
probably
training.
MacGyver us.
That's just her
somehow,
rage.
you know?
That's just her
Yeah.
lady rage. To kill
That's
us.
not the Air Force. That's just Tiffany being Tiffany. I can kill you.
Take off her glasses and she had a little shib at the end of it.
Yeah, I've seen her do
I
like a
learned that
Black Widow
somewhere
jump and kick.
else.
Right. Yeah.
But no, so I have not. But yeah, a lot of
But
people.
still,
did.
we shouldn't
it
mess
was at
with
the
you.
time. No, I think the general consensus and people know that I will probably stab you. It's gotten me through a lot in life. When I walk uptown at night, I tend to be fine.
Okay.
I think I carry the "I wish you would" mentality. I'm not saying it's the best mentality, but I'm also not telling you what I'm carrying on me if you were to ever approach me.
Dang, and that's a little bit about TBJ. Okay, now you got that. They got that research done about the glue you looked at.
Yes.
Oh.
So apparently it is a thing. So I'm surprised you didn't see it.
It's always been a thing?
superglue. Yeah. For certain kinds of cuts, super glue can be an effective way of closing the wounds for healing.
Cool. I never saw that before.
There's a special medical version of it, but a lot of people tend to use regular super glue.
Huh.
That being
And now
said,
you know.
Nerd School does not recommend you use super glue on your injuries. Please see your medical professional.
That's great. We're gonna. All right, Tiffany is going to be the official person who gives those.
Listen, we're not getting
what
a
are those-
lawsuit because
What do you
we
call
were
those?
being goofy.
Disclaimers. You're the disclaimer
Yes.
person, so we'll go to you on those.
She's HR.
Yeah, she's
HR and the
HR for
marketing
Nerd
genius.
School. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
The other thing note I made at this point was that I couldn't stop picturing. Here we go with my whole thing. I couldn't stop picturing Ed Norton as a Nazi because I guess the movie that I relate him in my mind with the most is
American History.
American
Yep.
History X. Yeah,
Oh.
and that was just so, especially that scene where he kicks that guy.
Curbs.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
can't. Like, it just scarred me for life. I think. I don't know how old I was when I saw that, but gosh, I shouldn't have. I can't get that out of my mind. And Ed Norton specifically. Like, I see him doing that every time I see him in anything.
So it's probably good that they recast him after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think I liked, crap, what's the guy's name? Who's the new guy? Mark Ruffalo. I didn't think I liked him at first, but I really like him now that he's been in a bunch of things and you've seen his character develop.
I love Mark Ruffalo.
You love Mark Ruffalo? I mean, I didn't know him before that.
He's
So
a
maybe
very
that's-
sincere Bruce.
What's that?
He's a very sincere Bruce.
Yeah, and I like
think he
his
does Bruce-
nerdiness. Like, I like his
Yeah,
nerdy.
he does.
You believe it more. Like, Ed Norton.
Right.
I don't know. Ed Norton's a Nazi. I don't know. I mean, he probably isn't a Nazi.
Even you get past that, like I guess I could see the whole Tyler Durden, the kind of like he just seems like he wants to fight more than to be passive. Whereas
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo comes off as like, he comes off like a dad that like wants to save his son from the bullies.
Yeah.
And tell him to just talk to him instead of trying to beat him up.
Yeah,
Whereas
he doesn't
Norton's
go
like, kick his ass.
Yeah.
He had that kind of attitude.
Well, in Fight Club too. With Fight Club, he got that mindset, I guess. Right?
Yeah, I think it's. I really wish Mark had gotten his own Hulk movie. I think I would have been really excited because I enjoy him just as an actor, not even just as Hulk, just as an actor. I think it would have been great for him to have his own. I don't think it's possible now, but it would have been great for him to have his turn.
Why is it not possible now, do you think?
I think there's some rights issues. Universal Pictures still.
You don't mean, Tiff, you don't think it's possible because of anything they've done already. You just think legally it's
I think
not.
it's no. I think there's if there was a time and they could have done it, they would have. I think Andy's right. There's too many things in the background because I think if they could have done it, they would have done it. We would have got it. But,
Okay. I thought you were saying that. I thought you were saying because they developed it so far that they can't do it.
No, because he still rolls through all of our Avengers. Like he could still come out in a storyline, but I don't know if it's possible now.
Yeah, there'd be a great.
I think that's why he was in Ragnarok so much too, because it's kind of like, even though it's Thor's movie, it kind of like gives you the whole World War Hawk, Planet Hawk kind of feeling.
Yeah, it gives
because
him
it's like
more
Hawks
of a...
in space.
Yeah,
and it's like, what's that all about, kind of thing. And like
maybe
just
that
him,
is there.
Yeah,
wasn't there a whole like series of comics and things and where Hulk and Spider-Man were like a duo together for a while, or am I making that up?
It's a cartoon, wasn't it?
There were
Spidey?
always comics like Marvel Team Up or Marvel 2-in-1 where characters would team up and stuff like that. And they had animated series about the same time.
Yeah, and they used to come on back. I know in Baltimore they used to come on like the same, like back to back, so it almost seemed like it was like the Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk hour.
I think they did crossovers in the cartoons, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
I thought there was like a Hulk and Spidey show where they like did everything together, fought together, something. I don't know why I thought that.
I think you're thinking of what we're thinking of.
The cartoon, maybe the old cartoons.
The reason you thought that is because we had as children had a color formed set with the Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man.
Oh, that's probably right. Yeah, we played color forms. Like we were color form crazy. Like we did color forms.
Yeah, I used to love color forms.
And I look back at it now,
Dink.
and I'm like, how did
color forms and Shrinky Dinks?
Yeah, I'm like, how did they entertain us for so long? They were just like little pictures in plastic. But
they had their own play set, and you could play with them like they were little toys. You could make your own scenes. And
yeah.
I try to explain it to my kids, and they look at it like, you're crazy. Why would you play with that? We got video games and everything else. Like,
I mean, we didn't have all that. That's what you tell them. We didn't have all that. We had we had Atari, and I remember when getting our first PlayStation. I remember those days.
You do?
And it wasn't even really ours. I think it was my dad played the PlayStation when we first got the PlayStation. Like, it wasn't my sister and I. It's like, I don't think we really started playing a PlayStation as kids until I was a teen.
Yeah. Okay. So we're already 45 minutes in, about 40-ish minutes in. So let's finish one little bit more of the movie, and then we'll wrap that up, and then we'll start another one.
Okay.
So, because I want to get to I think this next part is a good stopping point once I finish this next bit. Unaware of the contaminated bottle, Bruce starts to leave, but he notices the same toughs who usually give him a hard time coming on to an attractive coworker, Martina, which I just thought that doesn't happen. There's never a super hot lady that works at a factory, but maybe there is. I don't know. Maybe there is.
It doesn't stop creepos. The creepy guys will hit and bother any woman that
true.
They can bother.
It'll be right. So Bruce stops the action by asking Martina if she'd like to have lunch with him tomorrow. Yeah, but she's like a supermodel working. But anyway, it's a movie. But the leader of the gang starts coming up to Bruce, who cautions him in Portuguese by saying, "Don't make me hungry. You wouldn't like me when I'm hungry." Which was a funny little bit. I like that part.
It was.
And then Bruce picks up a package from someone, and then he boots up his homemade computer and makes contact with someone named Mr. Blue in America. Together, the two of them are working on a cure, and after dicing up the package of the two of them are working on a cure, and he opens up the package, and it's a flower, and he applies its juice to his blood. Bruce regretfully types no change, to which Blue types that he should come to New York, and he glances at a photo of Betty he keeps before regretfully saying that he can't do that either and powering down for the night. Meanwhile, at the Pentagon, Ross is receiving a report from his chief assistant, Major Kathleen Spar, played by Christina Cabot. Is that how you say it? Cabot? I don't know. C-A-B-O-T.
I think it's Cabot.
Probably Cabot.
That an old man in Ohio died after receiving gamma poisoning from his fruit drink that came from Brazil.
And the old man was... I'm going to pause you, because the old man was...
Yep.
Nobody's going to jump in? I was
Andy?
like giving...
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee.
Thank you.
The Marvel
I think
creator.
you was pausing for Joe.
Playing it
I think
for
you
you
paused
guys.
it for Joe.
I was
No,
waiting
that's
on
good.
you guys to come in with me. I was leading up, and the
Oh,
old man...
I didn't know if we were all going to say it. Stan Lee. But my note was that I think we forgot to mention Stan Lee's cameo in Iron Man. Because he was Hugh Hefner in Iron Man.
I thought
don't
we
think
did
we
mention
mentioned
it.
Right.
We did?
I thought we did.
I can't remember if we did, but I wanted it in case we didn't. We might have mentioned it in this original recording that we messed up. I don't know. But maybe we did or maybe we didn't, but if we did...
Which happened in an alternate universe? Because we did mess up the original episode.
That's true. This is
Never
this is a
existed.
new world. Right, yeah, that didn't exist. So he was Hugh Hefner in that one. So that made me think, obviously, I don't remember all the ones he's done, but I was going to ask you guys, is this the only time he's like a main plot point, or is it just anything but Stan Lee is, or do we know?
Let's think about it. We'd have to go through them all.
I know. We need to have a special one-off episode of Stan Lee's.
Yeah, we might just do. Yeah, let's just do a
appearances.
special episode later and do that. But Stan Lee is in all these Marvel movies. And has there been a movie since he's passed away?
Yeah, Captain Marvel.
What?
Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah, he was in that. He was on a bus reading a script from Mallrats.
But that's what I'm wondering. Like, are they gonna just use old?
But didn't they
footage?
do like a... Because they didn't finish. They hadn't finished it when he died, though, right? Because wasn't that scene where I guess she... Like, it was almost like a montage. Not necessarily I guess the beginning was like a montage to him. But then when they saw him... I guess when he was on the bus, wasn't that just like him, but it was kind of played off like a memorial kind of thing? I could have...
It was just a brief thing. Like, it was on the train, actually. Like, she's chasing down the Skrull, and she looks over and sees Stan Lee reading a script from Mallrats. He just looks up and smiles, and she smiles back at him.
Yeah, so that was... I think he was dead at that point.
I mean...
By the release, he was.
Yeah. When they filmed it, he was alive.
Yeah.
When it was released, he was dead. I don't know if he was in Spider-Man Far From Home.
Wasn't Spider-Verse... they did a cartoon of him, right? And is that where they... I remember seeing a cartoon of him where it was like, oh, it's a tribute, oh, he's dead, or something. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it makes me just wonder, what are they going to do now in the next one?
They'll probably do some. I
They'll
feel
put him in
like
the background. They'll put a picture of
they'll
him
be
up
like
somewhere.
exactly. There'll be a portrait in somebody's house of their Uncle Carl, and that'll be Stan.
Yeah.
Like you can't. I don't think you can cancel that tradition, and I think it would make them want to do it even more.
Okay.
Right. And it's not like there's not a whole lot of recorded material with Stan Lee around.
That's
they
true.
Sort of
They probably
figure
have
out how to...
ton of video or they could CGI him at this point with now that they brought back what's the guy from Star Wars, Grand Moff Tarkin, isn't that who they
Peter
brought
Cushing?
back? Or Peter Cushing, yeah.
In Rogue One.
Yeah. I always wondered, I wonder if do they have to get the families permission to use his likeness or something?
Most of the families, dude from Fast and Furious and Carrie Fisher, most of their families are involved in the process.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I've ever seen one where their family wasn't involved in them bringing that person back on screen. I don't think anyone's ever been like, we're bringing them back no matter what.
Yeah.
But I think because in Fast and Furious, his brothers, a bunch of his brothers stepped in and shot some scenes.
Oh, okay.
Carrie Fisher's daughter had something to do with bringing her back.
Oh, okay.
So people there's still a level of respect that's coming.
Yeah, so I'm like, what's to stop somebody from using Bob Hope to sell,
Right.
Toyotas
No, I think
or
you
whatever,
have. Oh, then your
Fred
family.
Astaire,
The family
Fred
sues
Astaire
you.
already did a vacuum cleaner commercial.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, like the Dirt Devil or something like that.
Yeah,
Fred
yeah.
Astaire
He was dancing
did-
around with the
I don't
vacuum.
know how the Fred Astaire family feels
Yeah.
about that.
It depends on where their money is right now.
Here's a quick question I didn't write down, but it's coming to me now. Is this Kathleen Spar? Is that Major Kathleen Spar? Is that a character from comics and stuff?
Not that I recall.
It might be just in this movie.
Yeah.
Not
And
significant enough for you to recall, anyway.
No, I need to look up what we were talking about Ed Norton versus Mark Ruffalo. I need to re-find that press release that Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios released when they let him go and announced they were looking to recast. Because
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like the pettiest press release I'd ever seen.
Yes.
About basically shitting on Ed Norton for being not a team player. And
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
got a reputation for being a control freak and taking over productions and trying to rewrite things and take screenwriting credit from people.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has a bit of a reputation for being tough to work with.
Yeah,
There was
there's
no
a lot.
love lost in that one.
Yeah, right. There's a lot in the IMDb trivia about that, the riffs between and Ed Norton controlling the script and controlling the storyline and not letting certain things happen a certain way and making it go.
I mean, I
think
get it.
They filmed something he demanded to be filmed because he wanted it to be in the movie, and they had no intention of putting it in the movie. So there was some bad blood about that as well.
So which
there's
statement
opening-
do you want? Which statement do you want, Andy? That you're trying to find? Kevin
the-
Feige's or Edward Norton's?
Kevin Feige, when he back from 2009 or whatever, when they
I found one that says, "We have made the decision to not bring Ed Norton back to portray the title role of Bruce Banner in the Avengers. Our decision is definitely not one based on monetary factors, but instead rooted in the need for an actor who embodies the creativity and collaborative spirit of all our talented cast members. The Avengers demands players who thrive working as part of an ensemble, as evidenced by Robert, Chris H., Chris E., Sam, Scarlett, and all of our talented cast. We are looking to announce a name actor who fulfills these requirements and is passionate about the iconic role in the upcoming weeks."
He basically said, "This isn't a money decision because we ain't broke, but we don't want you."
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was most press releases are made to cover up drama.
Yeah.
But this was fuck you. You're done.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was we don't like you, Ed Norton.
It was a flat out, nope, no sir.
You're not a team player, bro.
Now I want to look for interviews with Ed Norton if they.
Oh yeah,
if
there's stuff
But
more
you-
recently with Ed Norton.
where he's
You won't.
addressed it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
There's more recent stuff.
But I understand. So I understand part of why Ed Norton is the way he is, but it also depends on your publicist. There's a certain level of control you want as an actor when you get to a certain height because you're paying attention to how you're seen. Now you can get too knee deep in that and ruin the process for your directors, your writers, your producers, which is where he went. But there's a way to play it right. Like, think of Reese Witherspoon. Reese Witherspoon is never going to play against her type, but that's because she did the smart thing and created her own production company. So she holds control from the top.
Yeah.
And Norton just is in here controlling from an actor level and plans on telling you all what you're not going to do with his image or what he feels passionate about.
Yeah.
So I
but
get
Ed Norton.
his need for it, but there's a better way to maintain a sense of control of how you are on the screen and how you come across. Because plenty of actors are bat crap crazy. What's his name on Arrested Development? That was horrible to the co-star.
Jeffrey Tambor.
Jeffrey Tambor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible, but you wouldn't know it until someone came out and told you how horrible it is because they're trained by their publicists and studios to all sit on the couch together and all hold this interview and look decent, but behind the scenes he was ridiculous to work with.
Yep.
Yeah, here's Edward Norton last year talking about this. He's talking about how I love the Hulk comics. I believe they were very mythic, and what Christopher Nolan had done with the Batman was going down a path that I was aligned with: long, dark, and serious. If there was ever a thing that I thought had that in it, it was the Hulk. It was literally the Promethean myth. I laid out a 2-film thing, the origin and then the idea of the Hulk as a conscious dreamer, a guy who can handle the trip. And they were like, that's what we want. And as it turned out, that wasn't what they wanted. But I had a great time doing it, and I got on great with Kevin Feige. So, but he thought the press release was cheap. It was
Of
brand
course.
defensiveness or something, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and so basically, this is an Easter chicken. Like in that scene where he uses the flower. Well, no, I guess it's an Easter egg. The scene where he uses the flower, where he gets the flower, the white flower.
Yeah.
There's an old Frankenstein where Frankenstein's monster is holding like a white flower. So like that's like the whole callback to like the whole Promethean and like the whole, you know, making the Hulk. I guess what Ed Norton's pretty much saying, like he wanted the Hulk to be sort of like a Frankenstein's monster kind of sort of thing, as opposed to like, you know, they say now how like this movie kind of sets up, well, towards the end, it kind of sets up the Hulk being, and this is third episode, right? But like, I guess we'll call back to, I guess once we do our third episode about this.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like, it calls back to the whole Hulk being, you know, uncontrollable, to being a point where like now he knows exactly how to control himself as the Hulk. So it's like he's like Frankenstein. You couldn't really control Frankenstein, and I guess the way they show him in movies, he's uncontrollable. Where like if you're reading Frankenstein, I always tell people Frankenstein's like a love story, but it's like Frankenstein has more control. Frankenstein's monster is more of a controlled kind of monster, as opposed to like a, you know, Hulk smash, beat him up kind of thing. And I think that's what Ed Norton was trying to get to by the way he was treating him. And they wanted more of a, you know, brute, just breaking, smashing everything just because kind of thing. And,
I think there's... I mean, the Hulk is basically a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde riff.
Yeah.
It is.
He's a very classic throwback kind of monster. And back in when he was created in 1962, Marvel Comics had been very big on making like monster comics throughout most of the 50s. It was just like classic monsters, your swamp monsters, or whatever the heck. Mm-hmm. And so that tracks pretty well that the Frankenstein myth or any kind of classic monster thing would go along with that. But then to bring the Hulk into the Avengers required a kind of different idea of the Hulk. And it's still the Hulk, because there's a lot, we'll get to it when we talk about the Avengers, but there's a lot they got right about the Hulk in the Avengers, about how he interacts with people and how people deal with him and what his attitude is like. But I can talk about that more.
Yeah, so it definitely started going another dimension. But with that, I think we're out of time for this episode. We're just getting our toe into it. We're just starting the movie, so that's good. We can have as many episodes as we need to talk about the Hulk, because it's a cool movie and it's great stuff, and it's good content for nerds. Right, nerds?
Correct.
Right.
But now we got to say
enjoy
goodbye.
content.
We got to say goodbye for this episode. So I'll let you guys say whatever you want to get out. But it's time to say goodbye to Nerd School. The bell has rung. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Nerd School is out. School's out.
I got to go catch the bus. I will talk to you guys later.
yeah, and I definitely will be back, a.k.a. Artstar, a.k.a. Tom Cruise #1 fan.
Tom Cruise sucks.
Oh, Lord. All right. I'll see you guys next time in class. TBJ, a.k.a. not a Tom Cruise fan.
Excelsior! Nerds roll. Oh, my glasses are broken.
The surprise nerd.
My pocket is protected.
The surprise nerd.
I am a super nerd.
Surprise nerd.
It's like Batman.
Okay.
Excelsior!
I am a super nerd.
The Nerd School Podcast.